I had a dear friend, one of the most conservative guys I ever served with. He'd been there 20-some years. He was the chairman of the committee. He was, and that was the problem. Power. He had power. He was the chairman of a committee. He was from El Paso. Dear, I served with him in the state legislature 30 years ago. And that vote sat at 217, 6:30 in the morning. And they were calling people off the floor. Excuse me, the president would like to talk to you. Come off the floor here for a second. Because you can't lobby on the floor, so pull you off the floor. The president, 5 o'clock in the morning, the president is calling freshman members, telling them, look, this is my, come on, guys, this is the team. Can you imagine, you're a freshman member of Congress. The president calls you up, calls you off the floor, and is telling you this is important. Please, you've got to do this for the party, for him. It was incredible, you guys. And this dear friend of mine was sitting there. I just will never forget this. And I saw the speaker come down off the dais and sit down next to him. And there was this discussion. And pretty soon, my friend, Joel, got up and walked down and changed his vote. And it was the 218th vote. And I said to him later, what in the name of heaven? And he was honest enough to tell me. The discussion went something like this. You're the chairman of the committee, right? You're the chairman of a subcommittee, actually. It was the chairman of a subcommittee in armed services. Yes. You like that, don't you? Yes. You want to be chairman tomorrow? And he did. He wanted to be chairman tomorrow. And so he got up and changed his vote. And I got actually physically sick to my stomach. I mean, I just could not. That guy, to me, was just such a stalwart. But again, power, the acquisition of power. See what I mean? What it does to you? And if you've got it, if you've got some, how much they can, what they can do to you. Now, I was never going to be chairman of anything. Okay? Subcommittee chairman of anything. I knew that. I knew that from the, like a year into the process. I could see what was going on here. And because I criticized the president, and because I criticized my party and the leadership, and I voted no most of the time, it just wasn't going to happen. And so Tom DeLay called me in and he said, one time he goes, you keep this up, he said, you keep this up and you're going to ruin your career in this place. And I said, Tom, of all the things you could possibly threaten me with, that has no cachet whatsoever. I don't have it. Because you see, my goal was not just to be a congressman. Okay? That wasn't it. I didn't seek the office just to be in the office. I sought the office because, yeah, I have a set of principles and please believe me, I've made mistakes. I have failed in so many ways. I'm a human being that is full of all the foibles. And I don't mean to present myself as some paragon of conservative virtue. I know I have made mistakes. But the fact that I never, ever sought the office for the office gave me enormous freedom. Yeah. I could do the things I wanted to do. I could vote no. What could they threaten me with? What could they take away from me? What could they promise me? Nothing that they had to offer was worth it. And nothing that I had nothing that they could threaten to take away from me that was, it didn't matter. It gave me great freedom. And it was, from that standpoint, it was terrific. And but it was also so discouraging to see this continual slide into collectivism. When I and any other member of the Congress is elected to that office, as a matter of fact, even to the presidency, but to the Congress of the United States, you stand on the floor of the House and you raise your right hand. You take an oath. January. If you listen to the oath, all the words in the oath, you realize there's not a word in here about the party. And there's not a word in here about the president. I'm not taking an oath to the party. Not taking an oath to the President. I'm taking an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. That's it. That is it. That is it. That's my main goal, purpose, and that is the oath I take. So even though I've been a Republican, I've been a Republican all my life, fact is, that's not my greatest loyalty. And where that party begins to stray, go someplace else, I'm not going with it. And I don't care what that means. I mean, I have because of this little hassle I told you I'm into now with Ken Buck and this in the state U.S. Senate race in Colorado, and a lady by the name of Jane Norton, who McCain wants, and I've opposed very publicly because she is a McCainiac, and who needs another McCain in the Senate, for God's sake? You know, who needs that? I don't want another one, and I don't care if she's a Republican or not. And I have gotten I run this little foundation, the Rocky Mountain Foundation, and today I got a call from our biggest contributor. Guess what he said? Tom, I got people on the board, you know, that are a little upset about this. What you doing? You know, and I've got to explain to him. You know, well, that's the way it's going to be. And whether we lose you, if we to shut our doors. That's the way it's going to be. And I know it happened the same way. I know there were calls made. They looked up and to see who was the contributor to this foundation. Let's call them up. I mean, that's the way they work. Despicable, really. But we are going to live past this. We're going to survive this. Our country is. And whether the Republican Party is searching for its heart and its soul, but it's looking in all of the wrong places. It's looking to the McCains, the old Bush people, the elite, that think that being in power is the only thing that matters. It's not. It's not, my friends. John Edwards, in his campaign, used to say, there are two Americas. And I guess he wasn't just talking about the people that have affairs and illegal children. I think he was talking about, you know, the haves and the have-nots or whatever. And he's wrong. I think there are really three. I have to tell you, three Americas. There's an America that the people that make that up are people who know of, understand, appreciate, and love the Constitution. There are people who know of, do not like, and want to dump the Constitution. The head of that movement is in the White House. Then there are people who couldn't spell the word Constitution, have no idea what the hell it's all about, and really couldn't care.